Welcome to Sports, Wheels, and Reels with Jeff Miller and Austin Horton. One show, two guys, three topics, unlimited possibilities. Presented by Mark Miller Subaru. Engage with us on social media or email us at podcast@mmsubaru.com. And now, welcome your hosts, Jeff Miller and Austin Horton.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for having me back.
59.
Episode 59. We've been trying to do this episode for a long time.
Is there anybody who has the number 59 in any sport?
Football. There's got to be a long snapper.
Yeah, it's got to be a weird position. like no one wears 59.
Schmeck Jones of the Baltimore Colts.
Number 59.
He's Jeff. I'm Austin. Coming up on today's show, we're talking sports. The Jazz are amazing.
They're very good.
Very, very good. And my friend Adam Miles from Reffuge Soccer, I did a sit-down with him about his She Belongs movement, getting girls involved in soccer, especially the refugees. Yeah. Did a trip to the Women's World Cup. We'll play that for you and talk about that. In Subaru news, it is Veterans Month. Subaru Loves Veterans Month. We'll talk about that. And a tease.
It's been out there on Subaru.com for the last couple of weeks.
And then
come next week.
You bet. I just watched a show on an airplane that we got to talk about.
I've seen that show too.
I don't know how I feel about it. Tell you about it all and more.
Inappropriate for your innocent side.
Me and my 5-year-old watched it together. Yeah. Be right back.
My name is Spencer Kofed, and my Subaru is Extreme Adventure. Outback's really great for my lifestyle. It's got the ground clearance, it has 4-wheel drive, it has just enough space for all my gear, but it's not crazy big of a footprint, so you can drive around the city really easily. It's a great car. And I almost never sleep in a tent now when I camp. I always sleep in the back of the Outback. I backcountry ski a lot here in the Wasatch, and I tour a lot. And to get there in a snowstorm, I want something reliable, and the Subaru gets me to the trailhead, and then I can go hike and ski Utah's great powder. If any of my friends were looking to buy a Subaru, I'd recommend Mark Miller Subaru. They have a promise price guarantee. It's just a really transparent experience. You never feel like they're hiding stuff from you. Whether it's skiing, skydiving, dirt biking, mountain bikes, surfing, and wakeboarding, my Subaru gets me out on my adventures. Subaru is a brand I trust, and Mark Miller Subaru is the Utah retailer that I love.
Let's talk about your Utah Jazz. They're not
our
Utah
Jazz.
Not
our Utah Jazz.
Never heard of them.
2-7
Blech.
to start the season.
They're lucky to be 2-7.
2-7.
They are giving up 193 points a game.
The defense could use some work. The offense isn't bad. Honestly.
No, it's not.
Honestly, the offense has been okay. They're scoring points. The problem is they're not stopping. The problem in the offense is turnovers. They just can't. I mean, they're passing the ball well. They're just turning the ball over too much.
Well,
I mean, they got it. It's pretty obvious at this point. I don't think Keontae's leaving the starting lineup again.
Good.
I think he's a starter for the rest of the season.
And you live with his mistakes.
Yeah. I mean, I thought they played, from an offensive standpoint, they were great against Indiana.
Sure.
They just didn't. They gave up 130-some points. Like, you can't win basketball games giving up 130-something points.
They're dead last, and they're far from second.
I think they're 29th.
To dead last. What?
I think they're 29th. I think there's
someone gave up 300 points.
I think there's a 30th worst team out there, but they're very bad. And part of it is the margin for error in NBA defense is so light that they got to figure out and start working as a team. They're just not working as a team. You got 5 crazy guys running around with their heads cut off, and it's like, wow, they all just ran into each other and gave up an open three-pointer.
It has a lot of
Probably
times.
Shouldn't leave Buddy Hield, the best three-point shooter in the league.
That can't be the game plan, right?
Wide open. You probably want to watch him.
That's the one
Did
guy.
you see Contavious Caldwell-Pope guarding Steph Curry 2 nights ago? He was in his jockstrap.
Yeah.
He was not leaving him. We don't have that guy. We have that guy. We're just not playing as a cohesive unit. And I'm confident that Hardy and the team will get it better. I mean, they're not going to go 2-7 for the rest of the season on that track. They're going to have some streaks. They're going to go. They're going to finish as a 30-40 win team still.
Whew.
It's
a
streaky world in the NBA,
yeah.
And they're going to go on some runs. Like, the talent's there. They've got the players. There's going to be some trades. I don't think.
You think the talent's there for defense? Because I don't.
I think the talent's there for defense. I think that
Walker's now out for 2 weeks.
I think you've got guys that don't work well together.
Okay.
And they got to do. And Danny's going to look at it. They've got to mix it up. I mean, I'd be very surprised if either THT or Sexton are on this team in
What?
3 months.
You mean all-star
Either.
Colin
Not
Sexton?
total. One of the two. One of the two goes away.
No.
I think Sexton is a sixth man is a good player.
Huh.
I don't think he should be a starter.
No, I think
him
he'd be amazing with the Salt Lake City Stars.
I think come on. I think him and Jordan Clarkson are very similar, which is tough.
Clarkson, man.
He's been rough.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have Clarkson shooting 26 shots in a game.
Unless he's making 9 of them.
Unless he's making 15 to 20 of them.
I'm talking, yeah.
Yeah, right.
A joke, but they're just not good.
They're struggling right now. They're just not a
They
cohesive
caught a little
unit.
lightning in a bottle last year.
Yeah.
And I think got some people.
I mean,
there's a little fool's gold there.
Lauri Markkanen's a top 10 player in the NBA right now this season.
Should they trade him?
Why? Why start over again?
Because they might be that far from where they need to be.
But they're not. You got a 25-year-old guy. If you can re-sign him to a 4 or 5 year deal, then you rebuild with him as your anchor. Like, why
forget
you
how
don't?
young he is.
Yeah, he's a kid.
He's very young. And Keontae George, I think, is going to be great.
And he wants to be in Utah. He likes it here. I mean, as of right now.
Yeah,
but I think you build this team around Keontae, and you still don't know what you have in Hendricks.
Well, how's the John Collins thing going?
I think John Collins has been good.
Not defensively.
Nobody's been good defensively.
I guess that's true.
Like nobody. I mean, if you looked at the thing, the Indiana. Do you know what killed the Jazz against Indiana was Markkanen's defense.
Yeah, probably.
They just moved everyone on switches to Markkanen and then just took him to the hole.
Which should be
which works
luxury.
Great if you have Kessler behind you.
Yeah.
Without Kessler behind you, the Jazz got toast.
And Olynyk should be better than he's been. And anyway, I think that I got a little bit of my hopes up last year, the first half of last year.
Do you know
we were closer to where we
Do you know who I wish they wouldn't have traded away?
Donovan Mitchell.
No, I think
Mitchell
had to go because I'll guarantee Mitchell's not a Cav next year.
No, he will not be. Did you see that whole thing about
Mitchell's
his trainer?
Mitchell's not going to be a Cav next year.
I wonder who was splintering that locker room.
It was the right move trading that. I think trading Gobert was still the right move, even though he's probably going to be Defensive Player of the Year again.
But Bogey.
No, Conley.
Oh.
I think keeping Conley on this team to teach Keontae what it is to be a point guard would have been vital to the future of the Jazz. And they really got nothing for Conley. I think keeping him on the roster would have been really nice.
As like a mentor?
Just as a mentor.
Even though they're different players.
Yeah, still would have been playing 20, 25 minutes a night. I mean, he's playing great in Minnesota.
Yeah.
He's on my fantasy team. He's dominating.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the Jazz. They're not great, and they're further away than I hoped they would be, but they're still okay.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, we're still 1 year away. I mean, we just had a big year last year that seemed like we were going to speed things up a lot, but it still takes 2-3 years to figure this stuff out.
Well, here's the real problem. The Spurs are going to win the next 20 world championships. So
maybe.
See, it's not that much of a joke to say that. Victor Wembanyama is him.
Okay, I get that, but if
he is stupid good.
I'll tell you right now, if you did a Rookie of the Year vote right now, he doesn't win. Holmgren wins. Holmgren's got better stats than Wembanyama. Go look him up.
Why did I think Holmgren was a second-year player?
Because he didn't play last year. He's the
Ben
Simmons-esque.
Yeah, yep, that's right.
Though San Antonio is going to recycle Donovan's Rookie of the Year question mark shirts, and they're going to be rolling it all out come March.
But Holmgren can have the Rookie of the Year second-year award. Wembanyama's going to win MVPs.
Holmgren's shooting like 45% from three and like 65% from the field.
But he's not going to win anything.
Wembanyama's shooting like 30%.
But he's going to win titles.
Probably.
I'd rather win titles than trophies.
It's really hard to win an NBA title. Did you know that?
Not if you tank like the Spurs tank.
It still takes other guys.
How many have they won? 5 or 4?
5, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Last year was the year.
I hate all the stuff you read on Twitter about, this shows you why we should have tanked. Okay, you tank, you still get a 15% chance at Wembanyama. Mm-hmm. And it was still probably fixed to go to San Antonio if you want to be a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, because Houston had the worst record.
Yeah. I mean, the odds of the Jazz getting Wembanyama were very low. But I get where everyone's coming from.
All right.
And you still got Keontae.
Which I am very excited.
They got him at 9, which...
Yeah. I'm very excited about him.
And he's been awesome.
And I'm mostly excited that Sexton won't play anymore. So.
I think it's THT that loses those minutes.
Yeah. they were trying to showcase him for trades. They can't do that anymore.
Well, he keeps dribbling the ball way deep in the paint, and they're just losing it.
And I love that he admitted that he goes on Twitter after the game and reads everyone's comments.
He needs to stop doing that.
What are you doing?
Jazz Twitter is the most toxic place on
the
planet. Twitter is bad, but Jazz Twitter's beyond Twitter.
Searching your own name?
It's so bad. All
right. My friend Adam Miles from Bridges Across America and Refugee Soccer.
Play your interview with him?
Yeah, I did a sit-down interview with him. He bought an Outback from us last year. He's an amazing person that is bringing life and love to people who need it through the game of soccer. Here's my sit-down with him about the She Belongs movement.
Let's do it.
So let's just dive in. Adam, I told everyone on the podcast a few times about this, what you do and what an amazing person you are. But let's talk for just a moment about, of course, we'll get to She Belongs, the movement within the refugee soccer. But tell me about Bridges to America, refugee soccer, and a story I'm familiar with, but my listeners aren't, how you got out of the rat race and into this sort of thing.
Sure. Well, thanks. I don't know that I'm amazing. I just found my thing, and I'm all in. Let's put it that way. But almost 20 years ago, started in the San Francisco Bay Area. Met a guy that was a political asylee from Africa. Helped reunite his family of 6 kids and a wife. And I was like, you know what? This feels way better than what I'm doing on Wall Street. Working in finance, helping rich people get richer. There's nothing wrong with being rich. I love it. I'm not, but I sort of was seeking that for so long, right? To the wealth and the trappings of wealth, and somehow that was defining my success. But I'd be like, wait, this feels better, and it costs a lot of effort. This has not been easy, right? A lot of personal investments, I'll say, I put into it. But anyway, we were able to. I went to Africa a bunch of times. Fast forward, we reunited 10 families total, just while I was working a really full-time job and helping raise 4 amazing kids. I don't know, 5 years into it, maybe I'm on my first trip to Africa, and I realized just how big soccer is, or football, right? And I played as a kid, but I'm nothing special. And sometimes people ask me that, like, "Well," I'm like, "No, I have zero career to talk about. Except we were the 3rd best team in California when I was 14 years old. How's that?" So, whatever. Then I went on to play.
That counts. That counts, buddy.
It's something, right? So anyway. So as I started realizing how huge soccer is globally, which was probably a no doubt moment for many of your listeners, but I think I realized it could be a real tool to help people, and also to not just help, quote unquote, the poor people in Africa, for example, but help my kids. And I started this with my daughter Kylie about 10 years ago, and she was a goalkeeper living up in Logan, Utah, and she was a goalkeeper, and so people would pledge money. We did something called Save-a-thon for Africa. So they would pledge money for every goal that she would save, and so she raised about $5,000 doing that. And we took over 100 soccer balls 9 months after I made some really ridiculous promise I made to some little boy in a village in Ghana. And I was like, you know what? I'll come back, and I'll be back. I don't know when I'll be back, but 9 months later, I'm back with 2 of my daughters and 100 soccer balls. We gave them out. So I was like, let's do more of this. Fast forward, I get divorced in 2016. I don't have the bandwidth to keep going back and forth to Africa. I've been to Nigeria like 12 times. We took the RSL Women, which is the precursor to the Royals. Took 6 of them over. We just had a ton of fun in Africa. Anyway, 2016, getting divorced. I'm like, I got to keep doing this, but I can't keep going to Africa. And I'm also like, wait. I found that there were 60,000 refugees in the Salt Lake area. And I said, okay, I grabbed, believe it or not, it was available, refugeesoccer.org. We already had the nonprofit started called Bridges to America from like 2010 or whatever. And I was like, okay, I don't know what exactly I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. And so this is, 7 years ago. And really, honestly, Austin, like just struggled financially. The divorce will do that, A, and B, I just, my heart wasn't in working on Wall Street anymore, and had some stuff at work, doesn't really matter. Just they made some changes at the top. And so I really, my business just kind of died. And I was like, okay, well, so I started doing some business consulting on the side, but really just wanted what I'm doing now full time and find a way to do that. And like I said, scary, ugly, lonely, hard as one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Anyway, so a couple of years ago, I find myself pitching the Utah legislature to about refugee soccer and what it's all about, and they're like, "We love this. Let's do this." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" So that's 2 years in a row we've been able to get a nice appropriation from the state. It doesn't cover everything we want to do. Maybe that's obvious, maybe it's not, but we got some big ambitions, and it's just super fun steering the ship here and keeping the wheels on. That's two metaphors I just used, but I totally mix them. Ships don't typically have wheels, if I'm correct, but since it is, since I know you because of Subaru, I'll just keep it to the auto metaphor. Okay, we're keeping the wheels on. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's great. That's good. So you get this thing going, Refugee Soccer. You can check it out, refugeesoccer.org, as you said. And you just recently also implemented this whole She Belongs movement within the Refugee Soccer. And kind of real quick, Refugee Soccer, it's not, you said 60,000 refugees in the Salt Lake area? Yeah. And that was how many years ago? 7 years ago?
That was from a study that was done before that.
So we're probably double that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know that there's a whole lot. I don't know how often they update that number, but with the crisis in Afghanistan, with the crisis in Ukraine, we've got a lot of people from there, and Venezuela actually, via Colombia. So you have more and more refugees coming, and frankly, Utah. It is a really wonderful state when it comes to welcoming refugees. I think the state history really has an understanding and a real empathy for those who are sort of driven from their home, and that's what we're talking about. People we throw around the word refugee a lot, but that's all these people are seeking is refuge from danger and really hard times that many of us cannot and hopefully will not ever be able to fully imagine or understand. And so we have this opportunity to share with them, hey, you know what? And I just choose to do this via soccer. There's amazing organizations out there that do so much for refugees, and Utah has just been a wonderful place to do that.
And so we'll get to She Belongs, but Refugee Soccer, who plays? How do they play? How do we all get involved?
Yeah, well, thank you. So there's three elements to our model. So it's play, equip, and compete. So PEC. So the play piece is we'll do volunteer-led training sessions for refugees in their communities, in their neighborhoods. We just did a wonderful event, our second year in a row, actually, with the Bingham High School girls soccer team about a month ago in South Salt Lake. About 100 people. You have a ton of refugee kids from like 3 years old up to 18, running around with 40 or 50, teenage girl soccer players. And just to watch them lead, it's such a beautiful thing. It's not just, again, like I said, it's not just, let's help these kids who don't have much and have come from really hard situations. It certainly is about that, but it's also like, hey, while we're doing that, this is kind of my secret, so don't tell anybody often. But this is like, when you engage, when you have non-refugee people, especially the young people, engage with these kids, magic happens. Relationships are formed. Their confidence, the non-refugee, kids' confidence rises, and they also, I think, it sparks something in their heart and in their mind. Like, you know what? I'm 14 now, or I'm 16 now. When I'm 21, or I'm 25, or I'm old like me, like I am, I'm old like this guy Adam. I want to do stuff like this, and how great is that? And I take zero, credit or responsibility for that. I just know that we're at least sparking that opportunity, that moment where they go, hey, I want to do more of that. So that's the play piece. The equip piece is we collect, gear, balls, shin guards, cleats, old jerseys. It's quite, I shouldn't call it a racket because whatever, but youth sports is quite a racket, is it not? I mean, we're spending thousands of dollars on one kid for 1 year. And these refugee families, they don't have that kind of dough, and they're just trying to learn English and make ends meet, right? And they also don't understand the process. I mean, it ain't easy, and so we end up registering. I'm skipping ahead. We collect this gear when a non-refugee kid is on a club and they get a new uniform. What do you think happens to that old uniform, right? We go and we give them people an opportunity to collect them, and then we'll redistribute them to the refugee kids who are stoked. You should see, I love these gear distribution parties, I call them, and we'll give out stuff, and they're just They love it. They love getting that stuff. And then the third piece is sort of just more longer term, kind of a permanent, we hope is a permanent piece of this, and that's the compete piece. So we help refugee kids that want to, and they don't all want to, but most of them do, get on a club or get on a team. Most of them are competitive clubs. La Roca, Avalanche, Murray Max, USA, and we have all kinds of local clubs that we get involved with, and we just it's a three-way commitment. So the family will donate what they or contribute, invest what they can. Maybe it's $50, maybe it's $500. It's usually on the lower end, but we get the club to grant what's called a scholarship. They give up club fees, and then we, via the money we get from the Utah legislature and other donors, we will then make up the difference so that kid can go play in a program that would normally cost $2, $3, $4 grand. Right, we help them with their travel expenses, as we're able, so they can go to tournaments. We went to about 5 or 6 kids go to tournaments in Las Vegas last year, which was, as one of the boys said, the best day of my life. I don't personally love Las Vegas, but so he made one of my not best days of my life really, really good because of what he said and the experience that he was having. So play, equip, compete. We're always looking for people to get involved with holding sessions. We're heading into the winter months. We've got a great indoor facility that we use on weekends. We'd love to do more of that, and always looking for more gear, especially cleats. Honestly, the storage unit's a little full of clothes that we're trying to give out still, but the cleats are always in high demand. And then as the year turns. Next year, spring is when we start looking at the next soccer year. Tryouts are usually in May, but that's always fun for us to try and get kids on competitive teams then.
Yeah, and what I love about it is someday you might have some kid that went through this program who is a soccer star and a professional and making money doing that. Yeah. But really what the idea is, and tell me if I'm wrong here, the idea is to give a village to someone who has lost their literal village. Like they have somewhere to go be themselves, to be a person, to be a kid, rather than having to pull themselves together, find work, they've been ripped from their literal home, displaced somewhere that's foreign, and the one thing that connects them, they may not even speak the same language as their teammates, but that ball speaks the same language, right?
100%, and that's the beautiful part about it. Look, I'm not smart enough to have come up with soccer, right? Or this isn't some kind of rocket surgery type thing. It's just like, hey, it's soccer. They love it. It doesn't matter if they speak English or not. Everyone understands, the language of soccer. And when you're on that field, all the other stuff, all the trauma that these kids have been through, and are still going through, frankly, as they try and adapt to a new culture. And mom and dad, they're not ever really going to adapt to the culture because it's so hard. And in a lot of cases, there's language issues, whatever, but they're still dealing with all this trauma and challenges. But they get on a field and they're playing with a kid that doesn't look like them. It doesn't speak their language, but there's a pass and someone makes a goal. I don't even care about the goal, but you make the pass, right? You embrace that kid, and the whole soccer family embraces them. So we might put one kid on a team, and there's 15 players on a team or whatever. So that one refugee kid is often embraced by the entire soccer family. So 14 other players, their families, do the math on that. I don't know, that's 100 people at least who have the chance to. Not everybody does, and we're all busy and we all have limited resources, or most of us, and that's fine. But when you think about creating belonging just through soccer, like I said, I mean, it's just, I wish I could say I invented this, but it's just like, this is such a simple concept. All we got to do is be all in on our effort. I'm doing that. I'll do that for the rest of my life. I'm happy to do it. I couldn't be happier, honestly. But when people from the community are just pitch in an hour or 5 hours or a year or what, I don't care, whatever it is, every bit of that counts, and it makes our community that much better.
So then tell me about the recent She Belongs movement, where we're focusing now on specifically female refugees and how they get involved.
Yeah. So as you know, the end of last year was the Men's World Cup. Super exciting and fun. And, my experience has been both in Africa and this country. Boys never have a problem coming out and playing soccer. They're aggressive. They're spunky. Sometimes they're obnoxious. That's fine. I don't care. It's great. But I never have to go and like invite them to come play. They're always like knocking on the door, so to speak, or DMing an Instagram, like, "Hey, when are we playing next?" Right? But the girls are an entirely different situation. I have three girls, four granddaughters, a fifth granddaughter on the way. I can't believe that. But again, I started this with my daughter, and so I'm wondering. I'm January of this year, 2023. I'm sort of tossing and turning like, man, we got to do more for the girls. We've got to get more girls involved because we're missing a huge opportunity. And frankly, I'm the kind of person that just believes that females are better than males anyway. And I don't say that to suck up to any females. I don't have to. I'm just saying like it's just true. It's just been my experience, right? But with all due respect to all the males in the world, including you, Austin, you're amazing. But I'm like, wait. Anyway, so literally in the middle of the night, I woke up and the words came to me, "She belongs." And I was like, okay, she belongs. Because I was thinking about what can we do? Because the Women's World Cup, was in July and August in Auckland, or sorry, in New Zealand and in Australia. And so perhaps this idea, talked to a couple of close, friends and people. And I was like, can we do this? And this is, let's form a team, 50% refugee, 50% non-refugee here in Utah. Let's get a coach. Let's get a team. Let's get some support people. Before I know it, I got 40 people, about 100 plus people who are interested in being involved. And I think it's March, right? So March, we formed the team. We have our first meeting. I think that meeting was in April, pretty close. I mean, it was a fast and furious process. And what we ended up doing, fast forward to July, so like 2 or 3 months later, we've got 38 people headed to San Francisco. We played 3 or 2 matches there in the Bay Area. We flew to Tokyo the next day for 5 days. That's a long story, but maybe for another time I'll tell you more about it. But that was incredible. And then we went on for the final leg and perhaps the most important leg. We spent a week in Auckland, New Zealand, playing against similarly formed She Belongs teams. So half refugee, half non-refugee. In this case, Kiwi girls. And just had the most incredible experience. We made a movie. I think you saw the short film that's coming on live. We've actually started shebelongs.org. So you can go to shebelongs.org/film and watch the short film. The feature-length film is coming out by November 30th. I confirmed that with my filmmaker today. We're in the editing process. He is. And we're just delighted. We'll be doing a really special screening that I just worked out the details for today. Can't announce anything about it yet, but you'll know. And we're just super stoked. And what this has done now, Austin, is because it was so, just to see the individual stories and the individual impact that this program was able to make, I said, okay, now we got to do this next year and the year after. And I'll tell you right now. Can I tell you right now? I don't know. I'm going to say it right now. We'll see who's listening. We'll be going to Spain next summer in honor of La Roja, the women's team. That they won the World Cup that we were actually at, right? Then there was a whole lot of controversy around what happened with the forcible kiss of this president. Whatever. I'm not going to get into it, but there is a real need for some unification, for some real belonging. And if the queens of women's soccer are having that kind of issue, go all the way down the line, imagine how it is at your local level, right? And that's an extreme example, granted, but still, we got a lot of work to do. And I'll shut up in just a second. But the way to think about She Belongs is 5 simple words: every girl, every opportunity, everywhere. And that's what we're going to be all about for the next cup that we're going to hold, the Global Cup in Spain. There'll be 3 other regions. I won't say those names, what regions they'll be, but there'll be 3 other regions beyond North America where we will invite similar teams like we just did this year over the summer. And I got a lot of work to do. I can hardly wait.
Well, you're doing great. We're excited to be along for the ride, to be spectators, and now to pitch in and do our own. I did see the short film. You asked me, don't tell anyone, don't share this with anyone. I was like, no big deal. It was really hard not to share that with people because it's so touching. And I'm excited that now I can share that it's live and out there now. And we're trying to get some things together here, as you know, at Mark Miller Subaru to try and get our support behind She Belongs in refugee soccer more than, but what I guess the final thing I want to say and give you a chance to express is we talked briefly about you have PEC, play, equip, and compete.
Yeah.
I was just cleaning out my basement last week, Adam, and I found some old cleats that I bought in college and wore one time. And I don't know why. I said to my wife, I don't know why, but I feel like I got to hold on to these. And now I know why. Like it never dawned on me, Adam, I can get these to Adam. So I think really easily there are at least 1,000 people that will watch this that know someone or are someone that has unused gear in their basement, in their attic, in their storage unit. You said mostly you want cleat. You have a lot of clothes. You'll take more, I assume, but really
sure.
Balls, shin guards. How can we most easily get those donated to you?
You know what? I mean, you and I could talk about this maybe offline, but I wonder if there's a way to do we don't have a physical presence. I mean, but what if we did during the holidays, we used some kind of campaign where there's a box at Mark Miller Subaru locations, or we did 2 years ago for Afghan evacuees that we visited on Air Force Base. Starbucks, we had 20 Starbucks stores where we collected shoes. So let's work on that. But otherwise, just message us. A lot of times, I will meet people and we'll just do a transfer into our beautiful Subaru Outback, by the way. I'm not a paid spokesperson, but we love our car. We love how well we've been taken care of, honestly. That's not gratuitous, but that would be a thought to do that. Otherwise, just get in touch with us. RefugeeSoccer.org is the way to go. It's pretty easy to message us. And also Instagram, honestly, that's our primary communication tool. Truly, it's just at Refugee Soccer, and also at She Belongs Global if people want to follow along. But we love that, and I love the airtime. I love look. One of the hardest things I do running this thing, and like I said, keeping the wheels on, is just letting people know and engage in the community. And I'm so delighted. I hope you'll autograph those cleats that I'm going to get from you, and we'll put them on this. No, you're not going to. Okay, fine.
Well, I'll autograph them. It won't be my autograph because that means nothing. That's worthless. Okay. I'll write the late great Pele, and they'll never know, right? So yeah.
Exactly. I love it. Well, that's awesome.
Pele's with 6 E's, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Something like that.
Well, hey, I could talk to you for hours, literally. But the best rule of podcasting is quick and easy and fun. So I guess we're gonna have to hang it up here for now. But I would say stay tuned. There's gonna be some more involvement here on Sports Wheels and Reels. Definitely on Mark Miller Subaru. And RefugeeSoccer.org is always open, right? Yeah, open for business.
24/7, you bet. Absolutely. Thanks, Austin. I appreciate it.
We need more like you, and we need more women in power everywhere. I agree with that. 100%.
Awesome.
Love you, brother. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, buddy. Talk to you later.
Amen.
See ya.
All right, Adam Miles, Refugee Soccer, and
cool.
She Belongs. We're excited. Hopefully we can get...
thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. And I'm hoping to get a soccer gear drive going here in the spring as people are gearing up. He needs cleats and balls and things. I'm hoping to get a bin or something put out. Cool. We'll figure that out.
Speaking of soccer, does Real win their game on Saturday?
Why not? Why not them?
Did you watch the first two?
I didn't know they were in season.
They're in the playoffs. Playoffs?
The playoffs? Are you kidding me? I'm just hoping to watch a game.
Game 3.
All right, coming up next, we'll get to wheels and talk some Subaru news. Stay tuned.
My name is Sierra Hudson. I'm a wife, mom, business owner, and my Subaru is safety for my family. So my husband Colton and I have 3 beautiful little girls. We love adventures. There's just so much to do outside, and we love being able to jump in our Subaru and just go. We've brought all 3 of our babies home from the hospital in our Subaru. So Subaru really is just a brand that's part of our family as well. My husband, he actually surprised me for Christmas in 2019 with a Subaru Ascent, and that was just the best Christmas present ever. So this past winter, it was January, we decided to take a spontaneous trip to St. George. My husband he hit a black ice or just snow, and we just started to slide. I was in the back seat and I was just making sure, kind of bracing for my kids to be safe. And it was just one of those moments where you truly feel helpless. We hit into the cement barrier and then rotated and hit a FedEx freight truck. And after we hit that truck, we spun again. The airbags had gone off, and everything was fine at that point. Our Subaru, put its life on the line for us, and I just thought that was, I know it's a car, but it means so much more to us and our family, so. There's no other car I want to drive. Subaru is one of the safest brands, and people can tell you that it has all the safety features, all the bells and whistles, but I've personally lived that. I mean, we went through such a horrific accident, and I can just attest that the Subaru truly is as safe as they say. The Ascent has Subaru EyeSight, and that is just an extra pair of eyes on the road, which I know I could use, and I'm sure you other moms could use as well. So when we were looking to get another Subaru, the only place that I could trust was Mark Miller Subaru. At Mark Miller Subaru, they have their Promise Price program, which is when you go in, the price you see is the price you pay. They're not haggling you. I mean, their salespeople aren't even paid on commission. So you just feel so comfortable when you walk in the doors. And as a woman, I just feel like I'm not being, talked down to. It's just such a great overall experience. As a mom with 3 busy kids, I don't have the time to drop them off places, so it's so nice that I can bring them here when I'm getting services done, looking for a new car. They have a cafeteria, they have a kids' play area, and it just makes the experience completely just relaxing, like it should be. I love Mark Miller Subaru, and so many other people do too, but hey, don't take my word for it. Just Google them. I mean, you'll see how many positive reviews come up. Subaru is a brand you can trust, and Mark Miller Subaru is the local Utah retailer that you will love.
All right, let's talk Subaru.
Teasers. Subaru teasers. The best part about
Subaru loves veterans.
So if you go to Subaru.com
and
you watch the teaser video, what do you see?
A wheel.
No, but you see that when they do the video. A vast forest.
What are you saying, Jeff?
What do you think that could be teasing?
The Solterra.
Might be the forest.
The BRZ.
The forest something, yeah. Not that I would know any back-end stuff on this, but...
the new 2025 Forester is going to be it.
Possibly.
It's it. It's going to be the best Forester they've ever made.
I have actually sat in that car.
What?
I have sat in the 2025 Forester.
So my mom, I'm trying to convince to get a Forester.
She
wants it to be boxier.
We're going to be excited.
Are they boxier? Are they beefier?
A little bit boxier.
Okay.
If you're looking for real boxiness, you're going to have to wait another year for the 26 Outback.
Okay.
But
I'm not a big fan of too boxy, but she likes boxy.
Yeah, I mean, like when you talk boxy, you're talking like Ford Bronco boxy.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say you're going to be waiting for the Outback to
Which
get
is
that boxy.
The younger generation
the Forester's,
likes that.
It's still a Forester. I mean, it's definitely recognizable as a Forester. The Outback's almost not recognizable. The 26 Outback.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So there's our tease for you.
Tease.
Subaru news there. All right, it is Subaru Loves Veterans Month. And these are our Midtown employees that are also veterans.
Yep, we're going to hand these out after the show to each of our Midtown employees.
We, of course, have Southtown employees as well that are getting plaques. We're going to hand those out. We staked 75 of U.S. Veteran Lives Here yard signs.
For Veterans Day, which is tomorrow.
Today is the observed Veterans Day.
Tomorrow's
Tomorrow's the actual Veterans 11th. Day. And it's also my son's birthday tomorrow.
On a Veterans Day?
He was born on Veterans Day.
That's a cool birthday day.
Which it is. And today is Rare Red Friday. You got red right here. Your tag there. Oh, his Jeff's thong.
Like the coach on Philly. Didn't he say it wasn't a thong, though?
The equipment guy or whatever.
The equipment guy? How embarrassing.
Just own it.
You fall down like it was a bat. Something happened.
Something. Or you like to wear them, so what? It's the year 2023, whatever.
That was pretty bad.
The thing you can't do is say, I'm not, what are you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's on national television.
We're in HD.
This big.
We got 4K these days.
Ultra 4K. A thong in Ultra 4K.
Yeah, there's no way. You lost
on a football
on that
game. On a non-laundry league. Laundry league.
Imagine what those players are doing in that kind of locker room. He has lost everything.
They all wear them too. But yeah, it's too bad. But yeah, Veterans Day. How did we get? Wear Red Friday. Remember,
Red
everyone
Friday.
Deployed. So thank you, sincerely thank you to our veterans and their families. Can't say it enough, and we love you. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Coming up next, no hard feelings.
We're going to talk about No Hard Feelings. Jennifer Lawrence.
I might have some hard feelings. Stay tuned.
My name's Jamie Usry, and I am a dog mom, a human mom, a wife, a member of the LGBTQ plus community, an animal advocate, and my Subaru is freedom. I've had so many animals over the years, several dozen dogs and cats. One of the things that I love about Mark Miller Subaru is they're the largest animal welfare supporter that I've ever met in the Salt Lake Valley. The dogs definitely enjoy the Subarus. I think it's a little more comfortable than some cars we've had in the past. One of the main reasons that I decided to purchase my 2 Subarus from Mark Miller Subaru is safety. Keeping all my little creatures safe is important to me, and Forester and the Ascent that I have are both highly rated. You know, it's kind of this combination of a safe car, a nice looking car, but also a very convenient dog owning and kid owning car as well. It's hard to leave the house to come have something done like an oil change or a rock chip repair, and so they come to me. Mark Miller Subaru comes out, picks up my car, brings it here to have it serviced, and drops it back off. And you just couldn't ask for anything better when you're a busy mom like I am. When I knew I was gonna buy Subarus, one of the reasons that I trusted Mark Miller Subaru so much is not just what they do for animals in the community, but what they do for our LGBTQ plus community here in Utah. They're one of the longest supporters of the LGBTQ plus community. I feel, as a person involved in that community, that they are someone that I can come to and will give me a good deal and respect me as a person and treat me right and my family right. And my wife and I, our daughter Harper and our dogs, we're just so happy that we picked Mark Miller Subaru. You may not even realize it, but through Mark Miller Subaru's Love Promise program, they're probably supporting a nonprofit that you love in the community. In the past 10 years, they've donated nearly $3 million across Utah to charities that we all love and support. Subaru is a brand that I trust, and Mark Miller Subaru is the local retailer that I love.
All right, let's talk. My favorite person in Hollywood, my end-all, be-all, J-Law.
Jennifer Lawrence. She's your favorite actress in Hollywood.
For many, many, many reasons.
So that's why you watch No Hard Feelings.
Correct. I'll watch anything she does.
What did you rate it?
I would rate it a good C-.
Is it because you were embarrassed on an airplane?
No. I did have a few moments of,
that's
oh
not
my gosh, skip.
That's not a good back of an airplane seat movie.
It's rated R for reasons. I had the earpods in, so the language
but
wasn't
it's like
a problem.
You worry about the person behind you who's watching what you're watching, and all of a sudden you're like, you get all sheepish.
The 2-year-old, the 5-year-old, the wife, and then I'm on the aisle, and we've got Lord knows who behind me.
Now you're watching inappropriate movies with your child next to you.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's that. It's not inappropriate. It is definitely a rated R.
There's a scene on the
movie
beach
that
I've Greco-Roman wrestling how it was meant to be done.
There is some nudity in the movie that you probably don't want to be watching on an airplane next to your child.
She throws 4 punches at once in that scene. But yeah, the movie, it's okay.
It's entertaining though.
Yeah,
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I will tell you this: it ruined the Hall & Oates song "Maneater" for me. That is the best version of that song.
So the idea of what the movie's about is about
a
kid's parents who pay somebody to welcome him to the world, basically.
Well said, Dad.
That's a good way of putting it.
She's a bird, he's a bee. They get together.
To try and make him more of a man before he goes to college.
He's a bit of a loser, as it were. And he's got prom coming up. And they're like, you got to have something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that song and that scene in the restaurant, I've watched that scene 100,000 times. That's a great version of that song.
Yeah.
And they played that live.
Mm-hmm.
Captured it in one shot, raw. Pretty cool.
No, I think it's a good movie. Jennifer Lawrence is awesome, so I agree.
And then we're coming into the Christmas season of movies, so
got a bunch of good ones coming for really future shows. We'll have some good reviews coming up.
Jeff, that's episode 59. We've got one left.
Do you know
one show left?
Wait, we're gonna go one more time. I got one more show that I've been watching. It's on. I don't even know what it's on. Probably on Apple. It's called Longmire. You heard of this?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen any of those
told
shows?
me about it. Yeah.
Longmire. It's good.
I heard it's really good.
It's like about a Wyoming sheriff, I think.
Yep.
And it's like the him, and I think it's like a true story written off his memoirs.
Oh, is it?
I think it's off this guy's memoirs.
Huh.
And it's him it's like about basically being in a small town Wyoming, which has got to be weird enough as it is. And then you've got him mixing with being right next to
we love our Wyoming customers.
But being right next to an Indian reservation.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like the idea of the two different police forces that aren't allowed to cross those lines at all.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, and crime doesn't worry about borders.
Reminds me of Wind River.
Right?
No, of course not.
But it's very good.
Just ask, never mind.
The cool one thing I like about this show is that it's a show that you can watch. Have you ever seen did you ever watch 911?
Rescue 911?
Like the show 911.
No.
It was about like LA.
With Angela Bassett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows where you don't have to follow the storyline. Like you could pick up just one episode and be completely be completely entertained by an episode without knowing what happened.
The serial part of it?
3 episodes ago.
I like that.
Like there's little stuff, but like in general.
That's why Seinfeld was great.
Each story, each episode is one case. Right, so you could just watch an episode and you don't have to stay in touch with your spouse.
It's like the movie, like the show 24. You couldn't do that.
Yeah, and it makes it tough because if you're trying to watch a show with like your spouse or something, you both have to be there every time. So I like that.
You cheat on your spouse by watching 3 more.
Like with this one, doesn't matter. You can pick it up whenever. So that's good.
Longmire. Check it out, even though it's on Apple. All right. He's Jeff. I'm Austin. Thanks to Ashley, as always, and thanks to Adam Miles of Refugee Soccer. Appreciate you. We'll be back. We'll be back for the 60th episode.
It's a couple weeks
before I turn 60.
Maybe.
Until then, Utah by 5.
Trust me.